This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. Welcome to the Lander County Commissioners meeting. Lander County Courthouse, 50 State Route 305, also via teleconference at Austin Courthouse, 122 Main Street, Austin, Nevada, via auto conferencing by GoToMeeting, barring technical difficulties. Call-in details 1-866-899-4679 or 1-312-757-3119. Access code 849-277-573. Or go to the website at www.gotomeetings.com. All times on this agenda are approximate. Considerations of terms may require more or less time than is scheduled. Items on the agenda may be taken out of order, and the public body may combine two or more agenda items for consideration, and the public body may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item on the agenda at any time. Public comment is designated for discussion only. The public has the opportunity to address the commission on any matter not appearing on the agenda. However, no action may be taken on any matter raised until the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Additionally, the public comment may be heard on any item listed on the agenda. Persons are invited to submit comments in writing and or attend and make comments. Comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person at the discussion of the commission. Please note that the public body may interrupt the opening meeting and exclude the public for the purpose of having an attorney-client discussion of possible or potential and existing litigation pursuant NRS 241-.0513B2. We'll call this meeting to order. You want to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll have a moment of silence. Lander County Commissioners may break for lunch from 12 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. Any agenda item may be taken out of order, may be pulled for consideration by the public body, and items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. Commissioners' reports on meetings, conferences, seminars attended. Patsy, you there?
I am, thank you, and I don't have any report.
Okay.
I do not.
I did a public lands meeting. There's not really much to report on that.
I don't have anything to report.
Okay. Okay. Considered staff reports on meetings, conferences, and seminars attended.
Good morning, Commission. Last night we did have a planning commission meeting, and we're working on the final draft of our master plan. The general consensus is that if we can have a combined meeting with the planning commission and the board of commissioners, maybe a workshop, a full day workshop, would probably be best for us to kind of get this thing wrapped up. And that would, the dates that work best for them are the 9th and the 16th of January. And I know January is a ways out, but it gets us past the holidays and hopefully allows everybody to come in and meet. And so that's something, if you guys don't mind jotting down on your calendar and then getting back to me and letting me know if either of them dates work, so we can let the planning commission know, and then we can also agendize a special meeting for that.
Possibility on Friday.
That was something they also considered, yes.
Okay. That's for me, and then any dates open.
Okay, so, yeah, if you guys shoot me some dates that work for you guys, we'll get them over to the planning commission, and then hopefully we can do that combined meeting. This has been going on, I think, since about 2015, and it's getting time to wrap up. So outside of that, everything else I have is on the agenda and will be on future agendas.
Thank you. Public comment. Do we have any public comment?
I do, I have a question. I don't know how this works as far as putting it on, if it goes on the next agenda, or how this works, but in the last couple of days, I've received, a few calls about a meeting, and I'm assuming it was a staff meeting, I'm not sure, I got a few texts and some questions, and, one of the questions, from the public was, if we were hiring, an assistant to you, and why we were just automatically hiring a person that had been mentioned in the meeting. And I said, to the best of my knowledge, and I listened to our meeting from our last meeting again, to make sure that I understood what we had said. And it had said that, it sounded like in the future, this was going to be something that we were going to look at, that we would put on the agenda, and there would be discussion, and there wouldn't be a mention of anybody being recommended, not recommended. And so I don't even know how to ask a question, or if I just, I don't even know how to address that, to tell you the truth, but I wanted to, just because there's people who text me, I didn't even know had my telephone number, and wanting to know what's going on. Some of them were confused and thought that this person was recommended as an assistant directly to us. And so I don't know what they're talking about, because I did not attend the meeting. So if there could be clarity, or if not, if that's something that needs to be brought onto an agenda item so it can be discussed. Because I'm unaware of what was said, because I was not in that.
100%. It came from a staff meeting, and it came directly from me.
Okay.
And I told the staff that it would be something that would be coming back before the commission. I will be making that recommendation to the commission. It was something that was brought up in my evaluation, to having an assistant, so we can kind of eliminate some of these single points of failure that the county has currently in place. And my recommendation at that time is going to be, as I told my staff, because I'm just out front with people, I don't have any reason to hide anything. My recommendation is going to be Sean. And that may upset some people, and that may be petting the dog backwards, but it's just upfront and honest, and that's the best I can do for you.
Okay, and that's just, I just wouldn't, like I said, I just thought putting the cart before the horse before we got anything in plans yet. That was all, and so I just wanted to know what.
Most certainly, it will come back before this commission, and the commission has a final say. You guys appointed me and can remove me just the same as Donnie and anybody else that would be in that position. So it will be an item back before this commission. But I am not here to hide anything from you guys. That is exactly the, and that will be my recommendation based on a number of things that I will bring back before you when it's an item.
All right, very good, and then we will wait till Patsy's back, or.
You bet.
before that.
You bet. We have all the way until next year to make this, at the end of the budget, and you guys will kind of make some of them determinations during budget. So, there are a few more steps that are gonna be in place, that have to take place before then. But it definitely came from my staff meeting, and I will tell the public that just the same as I'm telling you right now.
Very good, so, thank you.
You bet.
I made this statement on the record in the evaluation part of, I went to Bert and asked him, because I firmly believe in all my career in succession management. So I asked Bert what the succession management piece would be. So in my evaluation is also to start to, that's a piece I would like to see, presented. So I wasn't in the staff meeting, but it was in the same lines in my support of I believe it is succession management. Who's next to take over if Bert was to vacate.
Do we have any more public comment? Okay. Consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Board of County Commissioners with one action without excessive discussion. Any member of the board or any citizen may request an item be taken from the consent agenda, discussed and acted upon separately during this meeting. Consent agenda materials are available at the Lander County Clerk's office for viewing, and copies are available for nominal charge. Okay, we'll move on to Approval of the October 26, 2023 agenda notice.
Are we doing them all three, or?
Yeah, we can do all three of them. Approve the October 12th, 2023 meeting minutes. Approval of payroll change requests.
A motion that we approve consent agenda items 1, 2, 3 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. We'll move on to number
All in
one.
favor?
Huh? All in favor? Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we'll move on to number one. The Commissioners discussion
You guys-
and possible action to approve.
JR, do you guys have the meeting minutes for October 12th?
I have, yeah. I know we have to go through the ones I
No.
have.
No.
I haven't received any. Are these? What do we for these? Oh, this is September 14th, so maybe not.
I misread it too.
Okay.
Okay,
So we
Okay.
have to.
so,
We'll amend that to admit the October 12th meeting
want
minutes.
me to just redo it now?
You can if you
I'll
want.
just redo the motion.
Just amend it.
I motion to amend the approval of consent agenda items and add put 2 and 3 and subtract 1.
No, 1 and 3 and
One
subtract
and
2.
three.
Oh,
And-
1 and 3, remove 2.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Patsy. Commissioners, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove payment of bills. Patsy, you didn't have any bills, did you?
No, I don't, thank you.
None?
Okay, no, so
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we approve the payment of the bills.
I'll second it.
okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, Commissioners' update from the Public Works Director, Don Prince, regarding past, current, and future projects.
Good morning, Commission. Don Prince for the record. Alrighty, it's an update for our lift station over here. We did the preliminary walkthrough last week, I believe it was. We're got a startup scheduled for the first week in November and get it up online, hopefully, if everything goes good. Well 6, over here at the treatment plant off of Royals Ranch over here. We gotta put the media in, and they're gonna do that on November 7th. We plan on starting up on the 27th of November. It's gonna take like a week to run through and do all the sampling and all that stuff. Then we should be, if everything goes good, we should be good to go there. Our safe routes, we're continuing on it, and I gotta word this right. They're going pretty fast over there. They're gonna probably continue working as the weather permits throughout the winter. Hopefully we have a mild winter. Everybody says it's not gonna be, but let's cross our fingers.
You can always hope.
Yep. That's it.
I got a question. How are we doing on the water damaged roads?
We are still working on it. But I think we're getting caught up finally. Hopefully before we get too much weather, we'll get them all together. I believe there's only 1 or 2 left to hit still, so.
Good.
But it was
They did a nice job on most of it.
yeah, well,
Red Rock.
the way the storms hit us this year, they wiped them all out. We got them fixed up. 2 weeks later, hit them, took them out again, so
Well, we got a half a year of raining
we did.
one day.
We did. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Donnie, this
Yes.
is Pat. Yeah, tell me what the status is on the tennis court now in Austin.
We've got it striped, and people have been playing on it, Miss Patsy.
Okay, and it's all striped for everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Move to number 3. Update from Rec Center Director Sean Baker regarding past, current, and future projects and events.
Good morning, Commission. Sean Baker for the record. All the lines are striped in Austin and Battle Mountain for all the parks and basketball places. You have pickleball, tennis, and basketball in Austin, Patsy, and everything's done and looking good. We patched the concrete at the tennis court there, painted over it. It is looking really good. All the parks around town are looking really good, and the stripers are done. So, moving on. The cameras for the Civic Center are done and installed. That system's up and running. So Rita's pretty happy. It's looking pretty good. At the Rec Center, we got new cameras for the Poseidon system, which is the drowning detection system. They are updating the software. All the cameras are in. That system should be back up and running within a week. The Fall Fest went really well. I seen Kathy showed up. It was pretty good. We had a very good turnout. All the vendors did good. The senior class, the sober seniors, all the kids jumped in and helped. It was a pretty good event. Softball camp was a hit. We had 41 Lander County kids and 5 out-of-town kids, and that was the Diamond softball camp that we brought in. Our next big event is going to be the tree lighting, December 2nd, Saturday. It'll be around 7 following the parade of lights, so if you guys can attend, that'd be much appreciated. Austin Library. We are working on moving the Austin Library from its current position to the Gridley store. Got with Colton Glenn. We're putting in new heat, power, looking at the roofing, stuff like that. But I would hope, I'm not going to give you a date when we'll be in, but hopefully it's soon.
Where is the Gridley store?
It is up closer by the tennis court, so it'll be a very good location once it's done. The Battle Mountain Library, we have a new library system. They are recataloguing all the books. We have a library card, so if you guys don't have a library card, please go get one, just to support the library, but it is doing a very good job. So that's all I have right now, Commission.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Item number 4, Commissioners for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove Lander County to sponsor the Battle Mountain High School Longhorn Athletic Program. Sponsorships are a gold level in the amount not to exceed $3,000, a green level in the amount not to exceed $1,000, and the white level to not exceed $500. Morning, folks.
Good morning. Good morning and hello everyone. I'm Madison Matthews and I play varsity softball and JV volleyball at BMHS. I'm here to talk about the financial aspects of our BMHS Longhorn athletic programs. We currently have a pay-to-play system in place where each athlete is required to pay $30 per season to participate in sports. This system brings in approximately $3,000 per season, which, while helpful, isn't sufficient to cover all of our expenses. Now let's talk about the costs. We have sports seasons in fall, winter, and spring. We offer a variety of sports including football, volleyball, soccer, cheer, cross country, girls golf, girls and boys basketball, wrestling, track and field, baseball, softball, and boys golf. The costs associated with our sports programs are substantial, especially hotel expenses during out-of-town competitions. The approximate cost per hotel stay per sports season can range from $1,500 to $2,500 per night. The smaller teams like golf costing $250 per night, the total annual hotel cost per season can range up between $8,000 to $12,000 per season. These costs don't even include state hotel stays. We are committed to providing affordable participation fees, and we've come up with a Longhorn sponsorship as a solution to alleviate these costs for our students and their parents.
Hi, my name is Chase Lutz, and I'm a varsity football captain at BMHS. We're determined not to pass on these expenses to our students and their families by increasing fees. That's why the sport administration team introduces the Longhorn sponsorship. We want to ensure that finances are not a barrier to participation in sports, and we need your support to make that happen. I'm here to tell you about the Longhorn sponsorship, which has been designed as a solution to address the financial challenges we've discussed. Our pay-to-play system brings in some revenue, but it's not enough to cover all the expenses associated with our athletic programs. The Longhorn sponsorship is the way to bridge this gap. Instead of increasing fees for our students and their parents, we want to establish partnership with community members and local businesses. The sponsor levels are tailored to offer benefits from our supporters and return. They help alleviate student athlete costs associated with participating in athletics.
Morning, my name is Ben George. I'm a varsity football captain. I do wrestling and track at BMHS. The gold level sponsors, which would be a $3,000 sponsorship, include a banner and a placard that would be displayed in gyms and fields on all 3 seasons and on the BMHS website. It would include 2 Longhorn sponsorship jackets and 2 family passes to all BMHS Longhorn regular season home contests. They will also be recognized as a gold level sponsor at all home events. Green level sponsors, which is $1,000 sponsorships, would include a banner and a placard to be displayed during one season of their choice and on the BMHS website. It will include 1 Longhorn sponsorship jacket and 1 family pass to all BMHS Longhorn regular season home contests. White level sponsors, which would be small businesses or community members that would contribute up to $500, would be recognized on the BMHS athletic website and receive a Longhorn sponsorship t-shirt. They will receive an individual pass to all BMHS Longhorn regular season home contests as well. So whether you choose to become a green, gold, or white level sponsor, your contribution makes a real impact. It helps us ensure that our athletes have the resources they need without financial barriers. And it supports the continuation of high quality sports programs at BMHS. Thank you for your time.
So I have a few comments. Thank you guys very much for coming up. And this is where my issue is. You guys should not even have to be here. That high school, that school district has a budget of where they should be paying and offsetting that. I sat on the school board before, and I know that there's a budget for you guys, and that you guys should not have to be out there doing this for your schools, and neither should your people in the back, that your superintendent. That budget should cover you guys to be able to play, because as I've said before, this county is you either have or have nots, and it is not fair that you guys should now be here peddling, trying to make money when your superintendent should be covering this. And I have huge issue that he has put you in that spot to do that, and I appreciate you guys, and I want you to know that. And I'm sorry that you have been put, and you have been put, and he's been put in this position, because you're trying to do the very best for your kids, and I want you to know that I appreciate that. But your superintendent, if anybody's going to get up here and ask for money, then he should be the one sitting right here, you guys, okay? And so I don't want you guys to be offended by what I've said, but after his beautiful white gym that he wanted so badly, then he should have saved that money for sports, and that's where it should have gone. But that's just my own personal opinion. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that, and I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate everybody who helps take care of sports. But your superintendent, if he wants money, should be the one up here asking, not you guys. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I address some of those things? So I agree with you. I wish it would be beneficial for everyone to not have to pay anything. My goal is, that every student gets to play without any financial barriers whatsoever. I don't like the idea of us having to ask families to pay to play. With the way that budgets are set up with schools is that there is a separate fund. There's district funds, and then there's school funds. And because we live in rural Nevada and we have to travel so far to play, we have an extra obstacle that a lot of school districts don't have. And that's the amount of travel that we have to do and how far we travel. I'm from Idaho, and the farthest we ever traveled for a game was 30 minutes because we were so much closer. Moving to Battle Mountain, that was a big jump for me to understand that we have a lot of overnight trips. So just some numbers. Just this year alone, we have spent $7,089.62 on hotels alone. The amount of money that we brought in for fall sports this year was $2,940 on the pay-to-play fee. What we see happening in this economy is inflation is going up. So prices of hotel rooms and everything like that, they are increasing as they are for everyone here. But we don't want to increase the pay-to-play. So what our school budget covers is it covers bus drivers, rooms, gas. That's what our budget covers. When it comes from the district funds, that's gonna cover equipment, uniforms, things that we purchase that stay with the district. But those things that do not, such as bus drivers, rooms, gas, food, travel expenses, those come from our school. So when we're looking at the sponsorship, that money goes to our school, not the district. So the uniforms that they're wearing, those are paid for. When we ask for the sponsorship, it's not going for equipment, it's not going for building use, it's not going for, the equipment, okay? It's going for travel, to be able to keep that still happening. The money that we do raise, it comes from Gates, student body card fees, and the pay-to-play fee. We would like to not have to increase the pay-to-play fee, and ultimately, we would like to eliminate the pay-to-play fee, but at this point, we're looking at possibly having to raise it unless if we have sponsorships. Now, with that being said, we have received sponsorships from Nevada Gold Mines, SSR, K&V Janitorial, Quincy Hines with Remax, the Hideaway. Those are the ones that come to mind right now. So we have been able to build that. So we're looking at sustaining, how can we do this without increasing pay for our families? Another part of our plan is we did start a business program at Battle Mountain High School. We purchased through grant money, so we don't have to pay it back. It is funded through a grant. We purchased embroidery machines and screen printing machines, so we can start producing our own Longhorn gear and using that revenue to fund this as well. And so I hear what you're saying. I get it exactly. But we're at the situation that many folks are at this point in our economy. We've got to make some changes so we do not put the pressure on our student athletes' families. What we've also seen is we've seen a huge increase of student participation in athletics the last couple of years. Other school districts, they're losing their engagement with students. But at Battle Mountain High School, we're increasing those numbers. And that's pretty neat, and that's what we want to continue doing. We want to make sure that we're allowing students to play and not having finances be a barrier to them. So that's the purpose of the sponsorship.
And I appreciate that, but like I said, you guys just shouldn't be the ones out here puddling that. That should be your superintendent, because the cost to do these from the time I was even on the school board till now was, it was expensive then, and things were budgeted. And what is the organization? What was the organization that where the parents helped? What is that name? And whatever happened to the boosters?
So the Booster Club is completely separate from the school and the school district. So that is a parent-run organization. There is a Boosters Club. I do know that they do, I know they did a fundraiser at the golf course a few months back. They do provide some banners for the seniors each year. But that's another thing, is we haven't been, that money is the Booster Club's money for what they want to do with it.
But the school asks, like a coach has to ask for it, right?
Right,
So there's requests.
yeah. So this is the school for our budget, what we have control over and what we can spend money on, because budgets and finances, they're divided up, and you can only spend a certain amount of money on a certain amount of things. So things that, I'm not an accountant, but things that are not, they're consumables, we don't keep them. So like a uniform, we keep that is in a certain budget. The consumables, I believe, is in a different budget. This is going into that consumable type budget, where it is paying for travel, food, the bus drivers, hotel rooms, things like that. That's where this money will go to.
So, this is a strong piece to my heart, definitely the athletics is. I think, I believe in the pay to play. I think it gives a commitment to the kid as well, when either the parent or they have to fundraise. $30 is not that much. But I think it also keeps, it brings them into the reality of adultship. Is I paid for this is something for me to do. I'm not supportive of eliminating that. But we have, first year on the commission, a lot of groups ask for money. I'm not supportive of giving money to pay for motel rooms or that. I think it's just burden and waste when fundraisers can be done or like that. I am supportive of if it goes to, like, I like the print, to do the gear, have kids sell it, you betcha. You know, if the stipulation could be made, I can become supportive of it to say, hey, you know, if you come back with an agenda or not an agenda, but a list of what the money will be used for, I have no problem with that, but it's, I mean, I criticize myself over and over when we gave donations to community groups for buckles and stuff like that, because it, you know, just this, if we were to give you $500 today, to me, it's just a waste of taxpayers' monies, and that's what I've taken the role on is to manage. But yet, if you could break the Nevada Gold Mines or Barracks or SRM's money to, if that's what they want to use it for, and we come in more with the printing machine, you know, the printing machines and the availability to buy the materials, you'll have my support. But I think right now, I'd like to, you know, have Brian back. I think we table it, because whatever we give today ain't gonna save right now and tomorrow. And give you time to put some of that equipment together and come back and give us a realistic number of what you need to go, but to make it business orientated in the long run. So it ain't every year a group of kids have to come before us to say, you know, we need $3,000 for motel rooms. I think that's a waste of taxpayer money. Because the whole program's funded by taxpayers once already. This is, to me, it's using it twice.
Yeah, understandable.
We can provide them with our new updated grant form, and maybe this will be our first trial run. They can fill that out. What you guys will see. Just an idea.
And then, like I said, a list of that, like I said, that there might be greater opportunity to do it that way. You know, see what, or do a matching funds to what they'll come up with out of their, you know, out of the school's general fund to match our donation. You know.
And I don't find, you know, that's not a bad idea. And, you know, like I said, going towards the equipment to build your business, is, you know, I'm like him, I don't have an issue with that, but, and you guys, if it's not the hardest thing, cause I love to tell children no, but like I said, it's your superintendent's responsibility, and it gives me a knot in my stomach to have to say that, you know, what I have to say, but it's his job to come and support you guys in this endeavor, so.
And I think you'll get a lot of support, because a lot of booster stuff, the shirts and that have gone very expensive. You know, I think if we keep it within reason, then it gives the kids responsibility to make it and sell it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'd like to table it.
I'm all for supporting buying equipment for them.
Yeah. So I think you'll have the support if we go about it that way.
Okay. All right.
And thank you guys for
Thank you,
presenting.
guys.
You did
Thank
an
you.
excellent job.
Thank you.
You can come back anytime, you know, you don't have to present, Ben.
Oh. Sorry.
Okay, we'll move to number 5. Commissioners, for discussion, possible action to approve, disapprove the opioid settlement agreement, Exhibit C to Masters Pharmaceutical LLC in the amount of $2,909.17, and authorize county manager to sign.
I'll leave this to our legal. I think this is just another settlement coming down, and we have to sign to receive it.
Okay. Basically, yes, it is. It's somewhat different than the previous settlements. They're a little stronger in not wanting bad publicity. They've got a provision that none of the private attorneys, I guess that doesn't include me, because it does say private, can make comments of an admission, and they're saying no admission. This one does not seem to have all of the hoops that we normally have seen and where we can spend the money, but then again, it's not that much money, correct? So that may be why. But since we're not likely to have our own suit against them, I don't see any harm in it, and it hopefully will benefit the community. And you probably, the easiest way would be, but that is gonna be up to you and the county manager, how you spend it. But the easiest way would be to spend it along the same lines as the earlier settlements. So, I don't know, if you have specific questions, I went over it. I can try and answer them, but basically, you're giving up any opportunity to sue for any opioid problems. It would be very difficult to sue in the first place, so it's probably a good settlement.
A motion to approve the opioid settlement agreement, Exhibit C with Masters Pharmaceutical LLC, in the amount of $2,909.17, and authorize the county manager to sign.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is passed. Move on to number 6. Commissioners, for discussion, consideration, and possible action for the review of the current agreement for legal service for indigent defendants with Kyle B. Swanson, Esquire, of Swanson, Blanker, and Plimpton, to review the new law effective July 1st, 2023, pursuant of AB 518, 2023, for stipend of $450 per day for defense attorneys to work on the weekends or holidays, and related to the hearings, to consider the continued detention or pretrial release of the defendant within 48 hours of arrest, and possible determination of whether the current and or future agreements should be amended or modified to address the legal services required to cover the hearings on the weekends or holidays, and the possible discussion to amend or not to amend the current agreement.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
Okay. Kyle Swanson, appearing on this agenda item. The Commission, I have some written materials that I would like to distribute, if I may approach and hand those out. Thank you.
This is for the weekends and holidays, is where you're wanting the extra money for, right?
Correct.
This is Pat. I have a question. JR?
Go ahead, Patsy.
Hello? Yeah, I have a question. JR? Yeah, this is Pat. Hello?
Go ahead, Patsy.
Thank you. I have a question. Because when we first looked at this contract, we did not have this supplemental compensation. And that's one of the things that we were concerned about. We didn't give him everything he asked for, but we did give him some. So now with this supplemental compensation, which does make up a little bit for their weekends and holidays, the whole point is, do we want to reduce any of our current money that we had approved, or are we just going to let him keep the $46,000? That's the whole key, right?
So Lake and Sullivan, for the record, let me just kind of give you guys a little bit of background. So this is additional money that was passed for AB 518, and each county received the $23,400 to cover the 48-hour hearings for their judges, DAs, and public defenders. We received $23,400 for our DA, and then $23,400 for our judges, because when they did the reporting, they only put Lander down for one judge instead of two. So currently, our justice of the peaces are splitting this $23,400. They agreed to do that. And then we also were awarded the $23,400 for our public defender. But we wanted to put it on the agenda since you guys gave him the $20,000 increase in his contract, and the majority of that was for these weekend hearings. We wanted to see how you guys wanted to proceed, because the county can just be reimbursed the $23,400 for the public defender since we gave him the increase, or we can give him an additional amount. We can give him a portion of it if you guys want. The 3,400 it would be extra on top of the 20 we already gave him if you wanted to give him that or more. It's up to you guys what you want to do.
So, Mr. Swanson, you were shaking your head. Was there something you wanted to say?
Well, there's a representation made that the increase that I had in my contract last year was because of weekend detention hearings. If you will recall, the presentation that I made was primarily due to a cost of living increase that at that point was running at 9%. And I had asked for a increase up to $170,000 based upon both the detention hearings as well as the cost of living increase. This commission negotiated me down to 150, and so the increase from the previous contract is of some debate as to whether that was for weekend detention hearings or for cost of living increase or both. It was never specifically set forth what that increase was going to be for. So, so the representation that it was for weekend detention work, if that is the case, then I received no cost of living increase when COLA was rising at 9% in this country at that time.
So then, so I make sure that I'm understanding, so then on the 23,000 that we received, so is that, and I'm not, is that something that you're asking for in the whole is the 23 that we received? Because then if we received the 23 and we only gave you a 20, and then we only actually are out $3,000, is that correct?
If we choose to do it that way. So I want to make it clear that if we choose to give him the 23,400, it's going to be separate from his contract. If that funding goes away, that money goes away.
Okay.
But he would have to ask for that additional $450 for every weekend on his quarterly invoice, which he knows that, we talked about that. And then we ask for reimbursement from DIDS for it.
Okay, which I think is fair.
If I can go through a presentation of the written materials that I gave you, it may clarify some of the questions that you have. The first document that I gave is a copy of Assembly Bill 518 that was passed into law, I believe the first week of June of 2023. It was effective July 1st of 2023. It did three things that I think are important for our discussion here today. Number one, and we've already touched on it, is that in section 7.3, subsection 4, it mandated a payment to all rural Nevada public defenders of $450 a day for weekend detention hearing work. The only counties that were exempted from that were Washoe and Clark. They have their own systems. So out of 15 counties, this was to apply to all 15. And it was done because the legislature and the governor recognized that when the state mandated 48-hour hearings, that you can't have an arrest on a Friday and wait till Monday. You now have to have these people have their hearings while they're in detention on either Saturday or Sunday. And
Hey Kyle,
so,
sorry to interrupt you. I think we're having some,
We got disconnected off the phone line.
sorry about that.
no problem.
Jared, I'm gonna need to take a break so we can
Do what?
I'm
We
gonna
have
need
to
you to
take a break so she
I
can reset
up.
her phone.
Gotta hang this up.
Just call a 10-minute break or something, Jared.
Just call a 10-minute break. Just call a 10-minute break.
Oh, okay, we'll take a 10-minute break.
All right.
Unmuted.
We'll call this meeting
This
back to
conference
order.
will now be recorded.
We'll call the meeting back to order.
If you want to continue where you left off.
Okay, fine. Thank you. When we left off before the break, I think I was describing section 7.3, subsection 4 of AB 518 and its provision that the state would pay all rural Nevada public defenders $450 a day for weekend detention work. And it was not specific as to whether or not there were actually detention hearings, but it was also for standby because For example, in this county, we have detention hearings every Sunday at 4 o'clock. At least that's what where they're scheduled. Even if they don't occur, if we don't have anybody in detention, the DA, the judge, and myself have to keep that in our schedule. So we have to keep our Sunday mornings open in case someone gets arrested Saturday night and they have to have a hearing on Sunday afternoon. So it's also for standby to compensate us for having to rearrange our weekend plans so that we're always available, if need be, at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Again, this was to commence on July 1st of 2023. AB 518 also in section 7.3, subsection 3, and this has also been alluded to, allowed the payment of the same amount to DAs and to the judges that have to conduct these hearings. And it's my understanding that that money has been paid to the district attorney of Lander County as well as the justice of the peace, and that's now being split between Judge Fortune and Judge Gandolfo. So the only one that hasn't received this compensation is myself. The way the law was worded was unique in that the money for the public defenders was paid to the Department of Indigent Defense Services first, and then from then it goes to the county and then to the public defenders. And so there was an additional layer maybe of bureaucracy where that money was to go through. It wasn't paid directly to the district attorneys and the justice of the peace like it was paid directly to them rather than indirectly to the public defenders. But there was something else that AB 518 did that I think is really important for our discussions today. In addition to mandating this weekend detention pay, Section 2, subsection A2, put a cap on how much the counties are required to pay for indigent defense services. The cap that was given to Lander County was $102,569. That's adjusted for inflation every year. But what that means is that Lander County does not have to pay more than $102,569. Everything over that is picked up by the state. The county got, and every county of Nevada, basically got a gift from the state, that the state is going to pick up a lot of these expenses. And in fact, I know Lander County knows about that because I'm understanding that Lander County cashed a check for $42,433.58, which represented a reimbursement of amounts that the county had paid over that cap amount in AB 518. And so the county was reimbursed a lot of those costs already. So we've got a situation where the county has benefited from this statute. They've gotten over $40,000 reimbursed to them. The DAs have benefited by getting paid. The justice of the peace have been benefited by getting paid. And I'm not sure where this came from, somebody at the county level said that the public defenders should not get paid. The statute is mandatory. And at this point, before I continue with the rest of my presentation, I guess I would like some answers from the county commission as to, number one, what was the legal basis for not paying me state mandated money? And what is the practical basis for not paying it, based on the fact that the county is capped at $102,000. So this isn't money that is from your constituents. This is not Lander County money. This is state money. So what was the county's motive in making the decision? And I don't know if it was at the commission level, the administrative level, I'm not sure. What was the motive in saying that I would not be paid this money until my contract was reviewed?
I just want to make it clear there was no decision made. That's why we're here today. You guys haven't made a decision. And so whatever you heard, Kyle, I don't know if that was hearsay, but we have not made a decision on this at all.
On July 1st, I called the county to ask how I should invoice for these amounts that are mandated by state law, and I was told I was not going to get paid that until it came before this commission. I don't know who made that decision.
Can I ask who you spoke with?
He spoke with me,
Oh.
but we chose to let them hear the money because it is county money. And I had spoke to Department of Indigent Defense to oversee the AB 518, and they said it was perfectly appropriate to put it before you guys and let you make the decision on how you wanted to
And are we
handle
gonna
it.
receive it whether he gets it or not? I mean, is that something,
No.
are they gonna pay us that money even if he's not getting paid it?
Yes, so we can ask for reimbursement. So the only portion that we didn't get, like right away, fully, was the public defenders.
Okay.
I told Department of Indigent Defense to keep the money because we didn't know what we were going to do with it at that time. And so if you guys give the 23,400 to Kyle, then yes, he will get that.
Okay, and I want to clarify that. I think Lincoln just said that this is county money. It is not county money. And there's a representative from DIDS on the phone right now that can clarify that if the county commission wants.
So then is this something that we should have been giving him the whole time and we weren't?
So if you choose to give it to him, then he can bill us. We've only paid him for the 1 quarter, the July through September, because he bills us quarterly, and we would pay him that $450 every weekend back to July. Yeah.
Okay.
That amount is my contract amount, okay? This weekend detention work is totally separate.
No,
It's
I
state money.
understand that.
Yeah,
I'm asking,
okay.
my question is that you have this $450 that you were supposed to be getting back from July, you're supposed to have been getting this from July, and it's not costing the county and everyone else is receiving it, then I'm not quite sure, and I don't remember where that whole thing fell in as far as my understanding of it, of why you're not receiving it. If it's reimbursed from the state, if everybody else is, and every public defender is getting it. Other than maybe when it came up that I didn't understand what we were talking about, which I'm not short on saying that. I don't have a problem admitting I didn't understand it if it came that way. But if that money is set aside for that, that's where it should be going.
Right, that's why we brought it before you. The difference is the other people that are receiving it are paid county employees. This is a contracted position, so we didn't want to make any.
Which I know, and I understand that.
And I
No,
spoke to
understand.
DIDS in June, so it's not like we waited and then.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
And just maybe it falls under total clarity, you know, and so, any other questions? So, I
Well-
mean, can I make it simple as, you know, us paying the 450 due all the way back? I mean, can I do that, make it the 450 that's been due, for the weekends from July till December when the end of the contract?
To start paying him the
Yes.
48-hour stipend and
Yes, from when
retro
the-
it back
yes,
to July,
July
yes.
until December, because isn't that when it was said that we were going to do or not do,
Mhm.
whatever? I think we'll, can make that decision in December, but we're right till the end, but still from July till December.
Yeah.
I believe he deserves to be paid what the state has granted, so
Mhm.
that would be my motion, if I'm making that motion correctly.
And I apologize to Lakin because she did come to me and ask me, and I was the one who told her, let's put it before the board. So it was not an intentional holdout on anybody. But thinking back to this, she said, should we just pay this? And I said, let's put it before the board. We're in a contract. Let's just put it before them, and then we can have that discussed here. So I apologize if that was taken as a shot at you, Kyle. That was not intended that way.
Well, and the agenda item, the way it was agendized this morning, was how this money related to my contract. And so I had to assume why I wasn't getting paid, and the only assumption was that the commission thought that I was already overcompensated, and so I didn't deserve this state money. I was running through my mind as to what could be the motive behind it. And so the rest of my documentation that I supplied was to educate the commission on what other public defenders are getting paid in the state. And right now, Lander County is, even without the cap that was imposed, Lander County is getting a hell of a deal. You're paying me as an independent contractor $150,000. My colleague in Mineral County, Cale Brock, with 5 years legal experience, I've got 34, is getting $180,000, and his hours were about half of what mine were in the last quarter. And my hours have gone up a lot in the last 10 months. And that's part of my documentation also. During the last DA's administration, I was averaging about 90 hours a quarter. Now I'm averaging almost 150. And that's not at all a criticism to Mr. Schaefer whatsoever. DAs are completely in control of and have discretion over how they prosecute a case. And he's just been a little bit tougher. We've had 3 jury trials, 2 of which have been mine in the last couple of months, and we hadn't had one for about 13 years before that. So it's just the nature of the beast. This job is requiring more hours, and so if the county commission was thinking that I was overpaid, I just wanted to say.
No, that wasn't mine. So that's my motion.
Before
Okay,
before
motion's
you
been made.
guys
Do we have a second?
vote, I just wanted to point out too that last year you guys only approved the public defender contract for 1 year instead of 2, and it's up December 31st. So we need to. You guys had wanted to go out to bid for it this year just to see, kind of open it up to more attorneys to put in a request for proposal. Do you guys still want to do that before December and maybe approve those on the December? Pick one on the December meeting, or how would you guys, or do you want to just put his contract back on for renewal?
I think we ought to do it now, give him compensation now, and then we can
Yeah, no, that's completely separate. He'll get that money regardless until he has a contract or doesn't with us, but I just wanted to bring that up now because we're running out of meetings to do that if you want
Because we
to.
only have 2 more meetings after this before the end of the year. So the question is, do we just wanna put his contract back in front of us to renew, or do you wanna go out to bid? Me personally I do not wanna go out to bid for one. It's a very short notice to go out for bid to try to get that. And with all
Well,
of
they would have the month of November to submit their request for proposal
and that's what, I mean,
and then you guys would approve.
so we make that in 2 separate motions? How do we do that? I don't know how to do that without stepping on myself.
You can just direct the staff, put the contract, they would have to anyway, it's
Yeah.
up. And there's no, unlike most contracts, I don't know what happened on this one, but unlike most of our contracts, there's no provision for a holdover. In other words, there's no renewing, no holdover. This contract ends December 31st, period.
Yeah, that's what they wanted.
So,
That's what they
That's what
asked
the
for
board wanted.
last
Yeah.
year. So you guys already kind of gave direction last year to put it out for bid this year, but we just
Does that
wanted,
have to be agendized though that way?
no, you,
Or
No, you're not making a motion on that. Your motion is specifically for the
to give him
450.
that funding.
We just
Alright.
need direction so we
Okay,
know
I
what
see.
to put, how to put his contract
Oh,
on.
I see. So do we wanna do this, get this vote for this 450 done first and then?
Yeah, you
Yes,
guys can
net
vote on
future
that.
agenda items, you can give us
Okay.
direction on how to
Okay.
proceed with the next one.
Correct. So is her motion, is Kathy's motion good then? She started the motion.
Yeah, and you seconded
Yes.
it, so you
I
just have to
seconded
vote.
it.
You know,
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, wait a minute, hold it. Would you repeat the motion? There's been so much counter talk.
All right, so it was my motion, Patsy, and I made the motion that we go ahead and pay the 450 that was reimbursed from the state, all the way back to July like we should have been paying, and through December, and so.
And not to amend the contract at all, right?
No, it has nothing to do with the contract at all.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
I second it.
Okay, you can call for the vote.
Thank you.
Call for the vote.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, very good. Are we good?
Yeah, thank you. And then if you wanted to follow up, I don't know if you need more information as to directives as to what to do about the next year's contract?
When they get to the end for future agenda items, they'll direct us.
Put
Okay.
that on,
How to go.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to number 10, item 10. Commissioners, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the purchasing parcel number 330-21, parcel B2 on the parcel map for Albert G. Smith, map document number 154283, recorded on July 25th, 1988, in the Lander County Recorder's Office, State of Nevada, which is 4.05 acres of land and an appraisal amount of $177,000.
So Commission, this is for the land directly across the street here, and this is where we're hoping to put the fire hall. If you guys choose to move forward with it, that would be where the money comes out of, is I believe we have 10 million budgeted for the new fire hall, and that money would come out of there. One of the family's requests is to put a plaque up, honoring, his mother. So that would be something that we would like to include in this motion if you guys do approve it.
So I'll motion to approve the purchasing of parcel 002-330-21, parcel B2 of the parcel map for the Albert G. Smith map dot number 154283, recorded on July 25th, 1988 in the Lander County Recorder's Office, State of Nevada, which is 4.05 acres of land and in the appraised amount of $177,000, with the contingency that we get an evaluation with what that power line over the top is, and if it's gonna have to be moved underground, and an estimate of cost, and I guess time to complete that.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could we also support the plaque?
Oh, and to add the plaque upon completion of the building.
Okay, thank you.
Off of this, while I'm here, do I have to ask now for, on the future agenda, discussion with Aaron and probably Ron present to discuss if we go through with this? Because, I mean, I would be interested in some change and knowledge of Ron of what the plan would be, because I'm stuck on like a beautiful facility, that would be the facility for everything, what the change would be if we have to budget money next year for it to extend and that. So can I put that on the
You
next
bet, we'll make that a
agenda?
future agenda item. And
Please.
Are we done?
Yep.
Okay, we'll move back to item number 7.
Did you guys take a vote on that?
Yeah.
It did, okay. Sorry.
Commissioners, review, consideration, and possible action on zone change application number 23-03 filed by the Lander County on behalf of Lake Properties LLC to change the zoning from APN 002-200-27 from C1 commercial to R1 single family residential to C1 commercial APN 002-200-49 from R1 single family residential and C1 commercial to R1 single family residential and APN 002-200-47 and 002-248 from C1 commercial to R1 single family residential to correct previous zone change errors.
Good morning, Commission. Thank you. Shelby Knott for the record. So this is just cleaning up some some properties that have multiple zones on them. There was some previous errors where some residential property got changed to commercial, and so just kind of cleaning things up.
You got any comment, Patsy?
I don't, thank you.
Okay, we'll hear a motion.
I motion to approve the zone change application as presented.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. move to number 8. Commissioners, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the letter of support on behalf of the Great Basin Children's Advocacy Center.
Do we have anybody on the phone for this? This was the item that we tabled last time, and we did reach back out, so.
I say we table it.
Table number 8. We'll move on to number 9. Commissioners, for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the resolution directing the Lander County Assessor to prepare the public and publish the 2024-25 assessment rule. So, anybody got anything to say about this?
Usually Laura comes in and speaks to this, so.
It might be a problem if we just skipped it.
We can actually approve it, can't we?
Yeah, we probably could.
We did assign it a resolution number after the agenda was done, and it's 2023-14, so you just have that for your motion.
Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
It's that time of year again.
Every year, huh?
Yeah, every year. Yeah, for 50 years. Yeah, this is just the standard resolution to close the roll that has to be approved before December 1st. So I started kind of doing it in October to get it out of the way because November is usually a short month and one meeting. So, yeah. And I think Carly just went to get the resolution because it has to be signed. So.
Does the resolution have to be read in?
Yes.
What was the number again, Lincoln?
-14,
Or are we waiting for?
2023-14. So if you want to move forward, you have to make your motion and read the resolution in.
Okay. Do I have to wait for the letter?
Oh, you have to read it.
They have it, yeah. It's in your packet.
Oh, okay. 10. Should I read it first, or?
Yeah, you'll just say you make your motion.
So, I motion to approve the resolution directing Lander County Assessor to prepare and publish the 2023-14 assessment roll.
I'll second.
No, that's not,
Nope.
he still has to read the
Oh,
resolution.
we have to read the whole.
So this resolution number 2023-14. Resolution directing the county assessor to prepare and publish a list of all taxpayers on the secured tax roll in the county and the total valuation of property on which they will severally pay taxes pursuant to the Nevada Revised Statutes NRS 361.300. Resolution number 2023-14, whereas Nevada Revised Statute requires Lander County Assessor to be directed by a resolution of the Lander County Board of Commissioners to prepare and publish the secured tax roll annually. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lander County Board of Commissioners does hereby direct the Lander County Assessor to prepare and publish a list of all taxpayers on the 2024-2025 secured tax roll in the county and the total valuation of the property on which they will severally pay taxes pursuant to NRS 361.300. Be it further resolved that the Lander County Board of Commissioners does hereby direct the Lander County Assessor to cause such list and valuations to be published on or before January 1st of the fiscal year in which the assessments are made, and published a notice in the newspaper of general circulation that such list is completed and open for inspection by interested persons on the county to publish the list of valuations in the public area of each public library or branch library within the county, and to publish a list of valuations on the county website. Passed and adopted the 26th day of October 2023 by the Board of Commissioners of Lander County. Do I put Brian's name on it too in the motion? No, okay.
Then I'll second.
Okay, the motion's been made. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And you authorize the chair to sign?
I authorize the chair to sign.
You gotta authorize the chair to sign.
Okay, we'll move on to number 11,
Thank you.
15. Oh. We'll move on to number 11. Recess the Board of Lander County Commissioners and convene in the meeting of the Lander County Health Board, composed of the Lander County Board of Commissioners, Sheriff Ron Unger, Dr. Troy Ross. Okay, we going back to your office for this.
He's good right here. I just put his name up there, so
Oh, okay.
he's official. He's official.
Good morning, Dr. Ross.
Good morning. All right, I'd like to convene the Lander County Board of Health meeting. And for the agenda today, I have 4 items to present. The first item is informational. This is an opportunity for the board and the community to get an introduction to a new offering for our communities from a company called Kairos Behavioral Health. And the leadership of this operation is here to give us a brief presentation. Just to introduce them, they consider themselves to be psychosocial specialists, offering peer support and recovery coaching to individuals, to family groups. They have programs available to present in our schools, and what I see as one of the more innovative offerings, something to bring into our detention facility to try to break the cycle of the people that end up in that place. So I'd like to present the Kairos team.
Good morning, Commissioners. I want to first say it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to tell you guys who we are, what we believe in, and what we want to do for Lander County. Like Dr. Ross said, the ones in detention as well as the schools around here. First, I'll kind of give us an introduction of what our mission statement is, what we believe in. At Kairos Recovery, we believe every person who walks through our door is not powerless over any addiction, mental illness, or behavioral issues they may be suffering from, that they in fact are powerful beyond measure and can be recovered, and no longer must hold a stigma for the rest of their lives. Our mission is to help our clients recognize this power within themselves, championing a whole person growth through mind, body, soul, and spirit, the rediscovery of oneself, which is why we are not referring our facility as a rehab. Kairos Recovery does not believe that you or your loved ones are broken or need to be rehabilitated. We do not need to fix you. We just want to help you find you. At Kairos Recovery doesn't just believe in championing our clients, but also serving as a beacon of hope for Lander County by offering family sessions, support groups, and educational resources. Our center will help families heal and navigate the challenges of addiction, behavioral health, and mental health issues. The entire community of Lander County benefits through this healing process as we witness the restoration of stronger, more resilient families and individuals by providing long-lasting and effective treatment and support. We help alleviate the strains of emergency rooms, hospitals, and jails, with more individuals accessing our recovery center. Fewer lives are lost to overdose, and fewer resources are consumed by recurring addiction and mental health issues. This in return enables our community to redirect valuable resources to areas such as education and public safety. Kairos Recovery will help, with your help, can illuminate our community of Lander County with compassion, resilience, and healing. So how we do that, I'm going to give this to my Director of Programs, Giovanni Martinez. He's going to describe what we do and how we do.
Hello, my name is Giovanni Martinez, just for the record, and would we mind presenting the slideshow? So Kairos Recovery believes in a holistic approach to recovery, and what exactly does that mean? It means we are trying to approach the mind, the body, and the soul. Our approach to completing a holistic recovery is a peer-driven support group, one-on-one meetings with a recovery coach, 9D breathwork, and of course physical training and education with our fitness and yoga programs. The peer support groups are where the clients will have the opportunity to build a support system within the community they will be cultivating through their stay at Kairos Recovery and Behavioral Health. We as humans are social creatures and require healthy communication within a broader community to untangle the web that substance abuse and mental health can entrap us in. These peer groups will go in tandem with the classes that hit upon topics that inspire an open and vulnerable dialogue within the groups. Empowering our clients to use their voices, we find many of our clients are just looking to be heard without ridicule. In these groups, they have the opportunity to find their voice. So for the Power of the Mind program, we will go through understanding your mind, the mind-body connection, overcoming limiting beliefs, goal setting, visualization, mindfulness, and meditation. The Power of the Thoughts program will go through understanding thought patterns, visualization and manifestation, positive affirmations, overcoming negative thoughts, and emotional mastery. Power of Habit, we will break into habit psychology, habit creation, goal setting, habit stacking, and breaking negative habits. And the Power of Self-Love, of self-reflection and acceptance, boundary setting, forgiveness and letting go, mindfulness and self-compassion, and going over core values. For the sake of time, we will provide you with slides and with folders with the slideshow presented so you could see the description underneath such specific topics. Furthermore, the one-on-one recovery coach sessions allow us to build a program customized to the needs of each client, as well as give those clients an opportunity for a more private discussion. Our breathwork classes provided by the 9D breathwork program dives into the ability to work through trauma without having to speak about it. And how is this possible exactly? The guided 9D breathwork allows our clients to connect with their souls and put them into a meditative state where a facilitator guides them through a 1-hour session of breathwork, allowing the client to process trauma. And this one is very difficult to explain, for each experience is unique to any given individual. So we highly recommend that you try this 9D breathwork program. Finally, with our physical education and yoga program, we show our clients the importance of maintaining their physical health, that having a sound body allows them the endurance to face the mental challenges of life. Through these programs, we will give our clients the tools to face their lives with courage, to be productive and contributing citizens to their communities, and of course, to be recovered. Thank you.
So Commissioners, our goal with Lander County is not just to help the individuals and the residents here. We want to get into the school district and teach these things to the students. You know, one thing that we found is that, you know, a lot of these teachers are getting some training on suicidal tendencies and all that, but they're not the ones committing suicide. The students are. So what we want to do and hopefully implement is our school program where we do teach these things to the school body, that's the student body. And as far as our reintegration program that we built for the jail, we like Dr. Ross said, want to stop this revolving door and repeat offending. To give these guys a chance to reintegrate into the community and be a resource to the community instead of a hindrance. With your guys' help, I believe that we can make a huge impact in Lander County. We have already, you guys have blessed us with 2 families that have came through our program that are now rebuilding their family, and the mom's getting the kid, and the families are they're healing and they're becoming better. And it was such a blessing to work with these 2 families and to continue to work with these families. We have more and more knocking on the door, wanting this help, and we, from the bottom of our hearts, love what we do. The reason we are effective as being peer support specialists is because we've lived it ourselves. We've lived through addiction, we've lived through mental health, behavioral health issues, and to have that connectivity with our clients is very impactful. And it's shown through the 2 families that we've been able to see. And with your guys' help, with the help of the sheriff and anybody in the school district, we have worked with Jennifer Lord trying to get just assemblies. We're willing to dedicate our time just to show the student body who we are, and that it's okay to ask for help and be another outlet for this community. It's an honor to be able to have this opportunity with Lander County. We hope to bring a ton of value here. We want to do community events and prevention awareness. That is our goal, and we have things put in place now that we are ready to go. So with the help of the commissioners and Lander County, we'd love to integrate that into here.
So I have a question, is
Sure.
Your background is how you got to where you guys are now, and are you a functioning 501c3, and,
Yes,
how
ma'am.
did
So
you
we
get
are.
where you are?
Yes, ma'am. So we are an LLC. To answer your first question, yes. Through our trauma and through our struggles, we found our purpose in life, and that's the main focus that we try to do with every client that comes through the door. That their past doesn't necessarily have to define who they are, and that their strength and what they have already survived. To answer your second question, we are a for-profit I did create a nonprofit. So my goal with that nonprofit is to never have to turn anybody away from joining our program due to lack of resources and funding. So we just got, it's all put into place. We're waiting to get federally designated. I think we're about 3 months out from that. I'm praying on. But with that 501c3, we'd love to, help Lander County as well as they've been helping us.
So where are you being utilized at this point?
So we are in Elko, Nevada. So the more clients that we have coming into our facility through Lander County, we'd love to. We were blessed with having a spot in the behavioral health center here, thanks to Brandy and Troy, and we want to be able to bring our resources here. We understand and want to accommodate the travel. We do understand that some people don't seek out treatment because of that. And so we want to eliminate that as well. The more clients that we have from Battle Mountain, we're hoping to have, our goal in the future is to have a satellite location here, so they do not have to travel.
So you'll have an office here in town, or?
Not an office, but we do have a place to do our groups and do our individuals with the individuals here.
You will advertise that locally, or?
Yes, sir. We have been as much as we can. There are some limitations because of a contract that we're hoping to solidify with you guys. But if that is approved, we will be all over the place, making sure that everybody in Lander County knows that we are here and it is okay to ask for help.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
And we've spoken with Kairos about the ability for them to grow into a more permanent location, a more ongoing presence here in the Battle Mountain community. But it really just depends on how the initial engagements go and what the needs are that we find.
Absolutely. And like Troy said, we are versatile in what we recover. I mean, I know, recovery seems to go just towards substance abuse, but recovery is so broad. It's for mental health, behavioral health as well. We are finding that a lot of the students here and kids here are seeking us more than the adults. We're not saying that the adults don't need us as well. I mean, everybody needs help. That's why we have therapists. But, you know, we just want to make sure that everybody in Lander County knows that there's power in asking for help. And it's taking that first step. And once they do, us as peer support, what our job is to advocate and support. And that's what we plan on doing for Lander County. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
We're excited to have them. I know that they will be back before the county commission, not the Board of Health, for some contracts that we're trying to work through right now. Everybody that we have spoke to has been excited to try to get them in here because that is something that we're seriously lacking here in our community. So hopefully they can work with some of the, you know, some AA meetings and some other meetings as well, try to get some things going on in our community to get some intervention somewhere before law enforcement.
Please.
Hi, Jenny Martin, Justice Court Administrator. I just wanted to put on the record our support of this program also. Judge Fortune and I were lucky enough to be included in a meeting with Dr. Ross and the Kairos team and Brandy. And what they offer for us, I think, would be great. We're just trying to get the ball rolling. I've spoke with the undersheriff. I've spoke with the sergeants at the jail. So we are working on when certain defendants come into custody that we feel would be a good match for them, getting them into the jail to actually get them evaluated there before they leave custody, before they're out on their own again and with no support.
And Kyle Swanson, Lander County Public Defender. I was not aware of this until today, but I'm pleasantly surprised. From a criminal perspective, I think it's important to understand that criminal law has changed a lot over the last 2 to 3 decades. It was punishment focused when I started practicing law back in the 80s and 90s. It has evolved into more of a rehabilitative first. In fact, if someone is arrested for possession of methamphetamine, first or second offense, it's mandatory probation with diversion programs where they have to go into drug court or other kind of rehabilitation. And that's been the rub in rural Nevada because the state has mandated these things, but we don't have the services, we don't have the resources, and we have been struggling for years to place individuals who would benefit from that with the right services. We have drug court set up, but drug court often doesn't have the most qualified people either because we just can't find them out here in rural Nevada. So this is an exciting opportunity to satisfy the direction that criminal law has been going for the past many years.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 2. This also is informational, and this is an update on clinical coverage for the community health clinic. And I wanted to update the board and the community to let them know that our contract physician coverage support of the community health clinic is waning. We still have a physician that currently we're having available 1 week a month. There's no end date to that, but I don't expect that he will be offering his services more than another month or 2. Going back to where we have come to in previous Board of Health and Commission meetings, we are now advertising for a mid-level clinician, a nurse practitioner, or a PA. That is out for advertisement. We have not yet had any interest expressed in people applying for that position. So then where we go from that, the fallback, is for us to maximize the use of standing orders, and which will allow the nurse in the community health clinic to be able to provide a better scope of services that would be under the supervising physician, which would, once we lose our contract position, that would be me in my position as the health officer. So just to give everyone the lay of the land on where we are with that. We're going to still continue to look to fill that mid-level provider, which then will give us a much more consistent scope of primary and public health services in the clinic. Are there any questions, comments? No.
Well, lots of luck getting a new physician in here.
Thank you. Need luck
Because
and
we need
prayers. Yes. Moving to item 3. This would be for the Board of Health to vote on a resolution in support of the County Commission covering the cost of services from the State Department of Public and Behavioral Health, who is supplying mandated services to the Lander County communities. So this recommendation for the County Commission to pay the assessment that is due for state mandated public health services. And in background, NRS Chapter 439 establishes that the State Department of Public and Behavioral Health will provide mandated health services to counties with annual assessments to those counties. There are provisions within this chapter for the county to request an exemption from the assessment when the county is prepared to provide the mandated services. Community health nursing services are currently being offered by the county and state services are not being used, but a request for exemption has not been submitted. Until the exemption is granted, the county should consider paying the annual assessment for these state mandated services. Then to provide just a little more background to that, it's just has not been recognized in the past, the mechanisms for the county to opt out of those state provided services, even though for a few years now we have in our own organic operations been providing a majority of those that we didn't go through the steps to get the stamp of approval from the governor to then opt out of paying that assessment. With that in mind, I see that we are obligated to pay the assessment that has been given to the county. Are there any questions, discussions of that item?
So I don't think you want to make a motion on it just because we'll have to bring that contract back before the commission for approval, but it'll just be a recommendation from the Board of Health to the commission.
Okay, thank you. Well, all right, very good. Then moving on to.
Can we get a recommendation?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
So I think the recommendation needs to come from the Board of Health to pay that based on the information that you're providing.
All right.
Does that come from him, his statement?
Yes, from the
based
board.
Yes.
So I would like to propose that the Board of Health forwards that recommendation to the county commission.
I agree.
Put it back on the upcoming agenda.
All right, thank you. Then moving on to item 4. I would like to have the board consider a resolution to begin the planning process to establish a county health department and consider looking into moving on to collaborate to form a health district in the future. Then for background, Lander County is empowered by statute to offer limited public health services, but it is able to augment the scope of those services. The UNR Office of Rural Health has recently participated in forming the new Central Nevada Health District, which includes Churchill, Pershing, Eureka, and Mineral counties. Through that effort, this office has developed a resource guide to assist other rural counties in forming their own health departments. And that is an attachment to the agenda. So county control over an expanded scope of health services will allow us to better respond to the needs of the people of our communities. It is a lengthy and in-depth process, the planning, resourcing, and implementation of a health department should be expected to take 1 and possibly up to 2 years. And it is the case that we are essentially functioning as a health department with our community health clinic. We do need to augment those resources, which we're looking to do with getting a full-time mid-level practitioner. And then there are other services that are typically provided by the state to our communities, which we can request to take control over from the state, such as permitting for food establishments. So we are now acting, in essence, as a health department. I would like to see the board formalize that declaration that we take on the designation of a health department, and from that point, we will be looking to request an exemption from the governor for the current services that we're being charged for from the state, and then can move on to take on other additional provision of services. With that will come staffing and resourcing, so that's where the planning process is in place. But at present, we can function as a health department. It just takes that formal declaration. With that, we would have the opportunity to look to get some support in some interlocal agreements, and to my mind, the new Central Nevada Health District could be the perfect place for us to go to get some of that support in an interlocal agreement as we augment our own services. Then to look at moving forward in exploring starting our own health district. It would be us collaborating with other counties to start a health district. With that, there is a whole table of pluses and minuses. The ability to gain a little bit of autonomy from the state, but then of course devolving some of that control to a district. So that's something that would be a long-term planning process should the Board of Health, should the county commissioners have an interest in pursuing that. But for the present, I see no additional commitments in declaring that we are standing up our own public health department, and then that just gives us the ability to grow into the future. Any discussion of those items?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay. Yes. Is there any public comment? With that then, I would like to move for the Board of Health to adopt the resolution to establish a health department and look in the future, explore in the future the ability to collaborate with other neighboring counties to form a health district.
So does that whole resolution have to be done by the district attorney's office and then brought back to us? All right. So is that something we're doing a motion on, and we're just directing that to be done and then brought back in front of us?
We just need a motion, I think.
Yeah, so I think he's asking for a motion, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
But I don't think that we have a resolution to motion on, so I think the
Yeah.
motion would be to create a resolution reflecting the.
Got it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, good, thank you. Not good with the mechanics of all of this.
No worries, that's fine.
So that will be my motion.
No. So do we go off making a motion to direct you guys to create one? Then
To
I'll-
create a resolution, bring it back to the
All
Board of
right, then I'll
Health or
second
County
it.
Commission to.
All right,
All right.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any in opposition?
Did we lose Patsy?
Patsy, I didn't, are you still there?
I'm right here, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Well, I guess the motion's been made and passed.
With that, I've covered the agenda for the Board of Health. Is there any other comments? We will close out this meeting of the Lander County Board of Health.
I think you guys will need a
Thank you.
motion to adjourn that.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And second. In favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Now,
Aye.
need to go back and learn my Robert's Rules of Order.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll reconvene the meeting of the Lander County Board of Commissioners. And go to item 12. Commissioners, for discussion of possible action to approve, disapprove Kairos Recoveries and Behavioral Health Center to become the host of events within the county community to spread awareness, educate the community, and to promote the health of the county's residents in the amount not to exceed $754.20 a month.
So before we do this, don't we have to have some kind of, or did I miss that, the layout of exactly what they're going to do? Was it a pocket that I didn't see that?
I have not seen the backup on this. I apologize. You guys don't.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I did not hear the question.
The backup that stipulates everything that you're going to do for those services,
Yes, I have sent them to legal.
so that we can't do anything till we have that, correct?
No, I don't recall getting it. So
I sent it to Elizabeth.
Okay,
so
so,
that, I believe that, sorry.
Maybe it's in with the other stuff here.
I think this is just to, do the hosting of the events, right, to have.
That's what I was wondering, the amount that was on the agenda, was that for just the event? That's what I'm reading. I was hoping it's not for the individuals.
It's not for the contract that
Sure.
that I think that you're referring to.
Sure,
that-
okay.
That Liz has seen, so this is the $754.20 a month.
Gotcha.
To promote community health. But I think our commissioner's asking, what are you guys gonna provide, what does that pay for?
Gotcha, so it's paying for any, it's like a 5K events, prevention and awareness seminars, suicidal prevention and
which I
awareness.
respect, but without anything.
Sure, no, and so that's
Not willing to
that's what-
provide anything like that.
I totally
Out of
understand.
respect.
No, absolutely, and yeah, I had emailed to get clarification on that, and I can build something for you and send it to.
So that we can put that.
Absolutely.
On the agenda.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I
Yes,
believe
ma'am.
that that's on, so the form that you fill out to be put on this agenda.
Yes.
It's all in there, and so when you give that to us, we
Gotcha.
give that to them, then they have all that information to act on.
Sure, I apologize
No
for that.
worries. It's a
Yeah.
process, but.
Sure, no, and I'll get that all clarified for you as
Very
well.
good, thank you.
Awesome, thank you guys.
So we will move that to the next agenda if you guys would like.
Please.
Okay.
Yes, please. So we'll table that one until we get the proper information. And then we'll move on to Commissioners for discussion and possible action to approve, disapprove the Austin Community Center and Medical Clinic initial design or make modifications.
So, for clarification here, this is something we have to do in order to comply with our grant. There will be some modifications that will come of this design, in the future, but just to stay on timelines for the grant, this is, part of what we have to do. So we do need this approval for the grant process. The community of Austin is not being completely left out here. We will still be up there to gather information and bring this back before the commission for the final approval of the final design. But we do need this, for the grant purposes.
This is Pat, and I have a question. This particular design and the amount of space that it's taking is still, you're looking at that area up by the park, is that correct? Or have we still opened up some other areas and leaving that for a final decision of where it might go?
No, currently it is still up at the park.
Okay, but what I'm saying is this particular design for the park, or if we decide to put it somewhere else on a final decision later, will this modification be okay? I mean,
So I don't know that it will change the design of the building, if that's what you're asking. I think that the design would fit. It would just be a matter of sizing it to fit the parcel. And there's gonna be some changes with this as we move forward. But currently, trying to find another location in Austin that it fits outside of the park hasn't been as easy as you would think.
well, no, I don't think it would be easy at all, personally. But I know there's still a lot of concern about having it there, and they didn't want a final decision that it would absolutely be there just yet.
She's wanting to know if they decide to put it in a different location, if this building would work in a different location.
I think
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Lincoln. Is that Lincoln?
So this is Aaron Martinez, AIM Engineering, for the record. And to answer your question, Ms. Waits, I'd have to get back to you to give you a 100% answer on if the site location was changed. Because this project is encompassed into two grant requirements, HRSA and HUD. Those grants are extremely in-depth, and to give you the best answer, I'd have to come back to you with some more information on if you could move the site and what the ramifications would be of that decision.
But it wouldn't really affect our grant. We could go forward with what it is right now.
That's correct. And off the cuff, the primary concern that I have of switching sites at this point is some of the items going to be brought up today are environmental related, and we'll be asking for some direction to achieve some of those environmental issues that need to be addressed, and it's strictly site related. So the change of the site would definitely need to be addressed immediately if that was the course of direction.
So Aaron, how does this fit in with the plot we already have?
Okay, so if you mind.
Just a minute. We have a comment here in Austin.
This is Dee Helmy, and I really wish that we could find another location for this, because we don't want to lose what little park space we have or lose our horseshoe pit. Our park is small as it is, and we really can't afford to lose any more of the real estate up there.
So, Dee, I'm not sure if this does end up in the park. This will be removing the hill, and a portion of, or actually all of the horseshoe pits is kind of where it will be there, but back into that hill. That we'd have to relocate horseshoe pits, but it's not actually in the park itself.
And those horseshoe pits are being in this design, so they're just being relocated. So in all reality, I think you're going to expand your park abilities and further add to that area.
Can Austin see the photos?
Well, we really don't want it up there. The citizens of Austin have talked about it, and they're really not. There has to be. Bert and I talked about other locations. I don't know if he moved forward with any of those or not.
So in order to purchase the locations, we are currently right now, Dee, looking at, we have to get an evaluation, and we can't pay over whatever that property is evaluated at. And that's
right. And this guy is aware of this. He was just being greedy.
Well, and that's where some of our issues come.
I'm sorry, what?
That is just where some of our issues come, is that oftentimes people feel like when they get an appraisal on their property that it is worth more than what the appraised value is, and the county is stuck with paying for appraised value.
Right, and unfortunately everybody thinks, oh, the county's rich, we're going to get them, and that's a sad fact.
Yes, so it really does limit our locations that we can place this in Austin. I don't know of any other ground in Austin that is county owned currently that won't put us past timelines and still be able to fit this and comply with our grants.
Have we moved forward on the appraisal on that one piece of property?
Yes, we actually have moved forward on 2 appraisals for different locations in Austin.
Okay, cool. All right.
And as Bert had mentioned, this agenda item was strictly geared towards meeting our grant requirements as you had mentioned, the town of Austin will have an opportunity to do a comment period and to see the changes of the plan. So, but today I'll be giving a brief presentation just to update everyone on the status of the project. So with that, on our board here, maybe. So we met with Nevada Health Centers in order to understand further what their needs are for the facility and how that coexisted with the Austin Community Center facility layout. So with that, we reduced pretty significantly the Nevada Health Center's square footage of the facility, and it's kind of broadcasted on your screen here to the far left. A lot of the Nevada Health Center's facilities will be on the exterior portion of the building. And so you can see the far left and bottom corner of the building is their laboratory and clinician rooms, and a waiting lobby area and 2 office spaces. They have a dedicated restroom facility that will be geared for private analysis and urine analysis and things like that, and the infrastructure will be geared for that sample to be passed securely into the laboratory component of the facility through the wall line. Outside of that, there's a shared bathroom facility located on the community center side, which is a much more of an open space that was originally conveyed in Austin a few months back by some of the constituents. And so it's a much larger space with an increased bathroom size. We have 1 primary office on the top portion of your screen, which will house the administrative component and allowing entry into the community center. We have a small technology room on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, which could be utilized for technology or it could be a reading room. So we were just kind of throwing some ideas out there to start that conversation. And then next to that technology room, right now we're proposing is a commercial kitchen. Again, these are all just ideas. The forethought of why the commercial kitchen was primarily to allow the community to have a more of a civic center type of approach where you might be able to host events, rent the facility, and so it was more of a revenue basis for that commercial kitchen was the idea. Again, it does not have to be there and can be taken out, absolutely. Again, the primary open floor plan harnesses, again, more geared for the kids in the community. We have right now we have in there a pool table, ping pong table, and foosball table, along with a gathering room for people to sit at tables and enjoy the facility. And again, these are all just options to start that conversation and what the community ultimately wants in there. We're absolutely open ears to address the floor plan. On the clinician side, looking at this ceiling, what we call a reflective plan, what you're seeing on the far left-hand side of your screen is a false ceiling that would be a flat office space type style to allow future expansion of any data or wiring. It makes the ease of doing that fairly easy. And then on the community center side, it's more of an open vaulted ceiling design in order to allow a more free-flowing building, and you can kind of see that vaulted approach here, just to kind of allow it to make it feel bigger and also help with some of the noise reduction of the students or whoever's occupying the building. So those are the kind of the floor plan layouts that we've adjusted. In regards to the action items or the things that need to occur in the short term, again, we need some commission action to accept the schematic designs as roughly as we have listed, knowing that those designs will change in the future, but we have some grant requirements that we have to submit that to the HRSA grant agency before the end of November. And the other action item is the Nevada Street component is going to be encumbered by this project. And so we are looking ultimately to just for the commissioners' FYIs, we're looking to expand Nevada Street in order to allow this infrastructure to fit in there nicely. We're gonna occupy a little bit of Nevada Street with our ADA parking because we just are really site constrained. As you all know, there's a big hill behind this proposed building. And so geometrically getting all this to work, we have to encumber a little bit of Nevada Street in order to achieve that. And the last piece is that we'll be extending utilities across Nevada Street to enter into this facility site. So those are the three main action items, and I'll reiterate them. One is to accept the plans for approval to send to the HRSA grant agency. The second action item is, and I don't know if you have to make an action on this, but we need to look for an environmental firm to achieve some of the environmental aspects of the project. And the third is to expand Nevada Street and the utilities within it.
I think we just need to warn the other one's professional service, so we will be looking, just so the commission's aware and the community of Austin's aware, we will be looking for an environmental firm to come in and start kind of sifting through this with us. And then the knowledge that if this is the location that's pinned down, we will be adjusting that street a little bit there that goes in front of the park. We will also forward these over to UD so you can spread these around Austin, what Aaron just showed the commission here in Battle Mountain. And you guys can take a look and kind of get an understanding of what our thought process is here and how we're trying to fit this in. So,
Okay.
So we can make a motion at this time?
You bet.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the Austin Community Center and Medical Clinic initial design. And do I have to put, make the modification? Do I have to put that part on there, or no, just the initial design? So.
Just initial design.
I'll second it. Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carried.
Thank you, Commissioner. And thank you, Aaron. We appreciate all the work.
Thank
It's
you
not,
very much.
this is not an easy project, and it's gonna, just another thing that I wanna make the commission aware of that Lakin is doing. She is reaching out, trying to get an extension on this because we know with everything that's going on there, some of these deadlines come up a little faster than expected, and we aren't moving as fast as any of us would like. So that's just how it falls.
Sounds like it's gonna be a neat addition to Austin. Yeah, I'm happy to see that go through. Okay, let's move on to item 14, correspondence, reports, future agenda items.
So we want to put the contract, whether we wanted to go out to bid or go for another year contract for Mr. Swanson? Okay, well, I didn't know if we had to bring that up or not.
That while he was here, so perfect.
That's totally up to you guys on what direction you wanna give, or if you wanna put it out in the paper to get bids, or just put it on for renewal.
So I know that might be a better question for Bill.
Yeah.
He kind of referenced that this was a drop dead contract, and I'm not sure if it's something that we can just renew or if it has to go out to bid, because I'm not sure the process of that. So Kyle and Bill can probably better answer that.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Kyle Swanson, Lander County Public Defender. I don't think this current contract was worded in terms of a drop dead date any differently than all the rest of the contracts. I just, my law firm, Todd Plimpton before me, and I have had this contract for 11 years, and it simply just came up for renewal at the end of it. They used to be 2-year contracts. In those 2 years, it always came up for renewal, and that's the way it was done. But I don't think there was any provision in those previous contracts that mandated that. It's just something that the county wanted to continue. So I think we're in the same boat right now that we were in a year ago and 3 years ago and 5 years ago. And that is what the county wants to do in terms of either renewing that for 1 or 2 years or putting it out for bid. Obviously up to you. I have my preferences. I have a secretary behind me that needs to know if she has a job on January 1st, and what I'm going to do come January 1st as well. I have other streams of income, so I'm not going to be out of a job, but it is a major part of my practice, especially with my hours going up, that I'm going to have to replace. So it'd be nice to know as soon as possible what's going to happen.
Just to clarify, my earlier comments are in regards not necessarily to your contract. It's county contracts in general. We usually have some kind of holdover provision because as a practical matter, things come up and people just keep on going, and this contract doesn't have anything that says it'll be month to month or season to season or year to year, which other contracts generally have. This one just, it ends, and there's no provision for what happens. My guess would be, really can't just say it goes on, because all of a sudden you're impinging on the court's powers. The county has county commissioners have the power to have a public defender, but if they don't do that, I believe the power suddenly shifts to the court. You correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think that's suddenly a judicial exercise in the absence of a statute. The statute is what gives the county commissioners the power.
Yeah, I've never researched that, Bill.
So-
I don't know if.
So my thinking is, without a contract, all of a sudden you'd be asking Judge Fortune and Judge Condolfo for appointments.
I suppose it could be done that way come January 1st if Lander County did not have a public defender under contract. It could be, well, I don't, at that moment, I don't have any obligation to the county because I don't have any contract.
Correct.
So it's either I get appointed on a case-by-case basis if I choose to take those cases, or Department of Indigent Defense Services could try to find attorneys from around northern Nevada to take those cases, or maybe even the state public defender would come in. I don't know.
I'm not willing to do that. I'm willing to, I don't know what, putting it out for bid, I have not heard anything bad about you, Kyle, I have not. And so I've been potting my nose in a bit just to find out, and I haven't. And I just think it's a huge waste of time to reinvent the wheel when we don't have to. Now, if we had huge conflicts that were brought back to us that said that you weren't doing your job, then yeah, I could see, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but if we had a huge issue with you and your client said that you were not helping them or you weren't doing your job, then I could see wanting to go back out for bid. And if
Not interrupt, but maybe we might want to reopen his contract discussion so we aren't,
oh, okay.
just to make sure we
okay.
aren't
What item was that?
breaching open meeting law here.
But was it under, did we have it under his contract?
Well, then we can discuss his
Okay.
contract.
Okay, so number what was
It
that?
was one of the things under that. Was that 8? No.
Sorry, Kyle.
No,
Sorry.
number 6, so, Dan.
Yeah, number 6.
Number
Okay.
6, so you open that.
We'll open up number 6 again.
Okay. Just
For discussion.
Just to be clear, in number 6, it talks about addressing determination whether current or future agreements should be amended or modified. So it is appropriate to discuss a future agreement.
And if I may say something else, I think when the county commission a year ago decided that they might want to put this out for bid, that was before AB 518 was passed. And so there may have been some concern about the amount of money that the county was paying out for defense indigent services. That's been modified significantly by AB 518, where the county pays out $102,000 maximum and the state picks up everything after that. So I don't know if the county has the same concern about the amount of my contract that it did before, because you guys are capped at $102,000. That's the most you're going to pay no matter what. I just throw that out.
Thank you. So does he need to just open it again, or does he need to read it back in?
You just need to let us know if you want his renewal on the next agenda. That's why we were on that.
Yeah, if you guys don't want the renewal on the,
I am for putting it on the next, but I'm one of, so it's up to Patsy, and I'm just for putting it on for renewal. So that's up to these guys.
Are you good with that, Kyle?
What exactly would it be worded on the agenda? That we'd be renegotiating future contract?
Yeah, how it is.
I have to defer to legal here on what we can do, because I don't know what is proper, if these have to be bid, or if they're just, if them directing us to renew, we bring that back before and you guys discuss this. I'm not sure. I have to defer to legal on that, how that would work.
Yeah, they don't have to be bid.
Since it's a professional service, you don't have
Okay, and
to.
it's capped at 102, so it doesn't matter at that point, because that's all we can pay, the rest goes. So there's really not just,
Because it is a professional service, you don't have to put it out to bid. You certainly can.
Wouldn't it
Because
just,
we're having such a short period of time, my recommendation would be just to try to renew it at least for 1 year, and then somebody pay attention and let's, if you have any appetite for putting it out for proposals, it's actually not bid, you ask for proposals, then do that, but if not, yeah, I would just go ahead and have it for renewal, because it is a professional service.
Do we want to look at renewing it for 2 years? Like, it sounds to me like previously it was 2 years, correct? And then it went to 1 year. Is there a reason?
It went to 1 year again, because I think the county commission wanted to, well, we were up against a time constraint last year. And there wasn't an appetite to do it for 2 years, because at least the majority of the county commission wanted to put it up for bid. And so to satisfy both the time constraint that we're running out of time before the end of the year, and yet to put it out for bid, they decided to do it for 1 year instead of 2.
So you're telling me history repeats itself?
Well, if it's capped at 102, it really doesn't make any difference to renew it for 2 years, because it's just, all it is creating a circle, and when it gets out of time, a year goes by very fast, and then, so, I would say common sense would say do 2 years, since we're really at no constraint other than the 102, so.
Right. And the other contracts I've seen around the state, at least from Nye, Pershing, Mineral, they're all 2-year contracts.
So I'm all for just renewing for 2 years.
So that to be put on that. So Patsy?
Yes?
I don't think you can renew it right now, you'd have.
No, we have to, I mean, just the consensus.
Yeah, we do,
that
but I would just
We'll
want
talk about
direction too, if you guys would
Okay,
like
Put
the
it on
contract.
the next agenda
Yes.
for Kyle Swanson to be renewed for 2 years on the next agenda.
Yes, it needs to go on the next agenda. You're discussing too much.
I agree.
What?
Sounds good.
I didn't hear
I
what
don't,
she
because
said.
we've opened up that item that is particularly based
Yeah,
around
we
this
reopened that
contract,
item.
so we
I
can.
know, but that was just to, what we were gonna do to amend along with the additional 450. But now we're discussing his new contract, so let's put it on the agenda.
Well, yeah, so what?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about,
Yes,
Patsy.
that's all we were talking about.
Putting him on the next agenda.
So,
okay.
Are you good with that, Patsy?
She said yes.
I think if you just put it on the next agenda, you don't have to say 1 or 2 years. Just put it on for renewal. And then at that time, you can direct whether you want it 1 or 2 years.
all right, so,
And I'm
is
sure,
that good enough for?
I'm sure Kyle can come up with a contract that.
The amount and
Or we
the,
can.
yeah, the amount and the duration can be open for
Yeah,
negotiation.
the duration can be at the end of the contract and be easily amended, and we can have it printed in 5 minutes of when you decide you want to amend it.
So does that work different?
Assuming you don't want a ton of corrections, but if you're just talking about when it ends, that won't
All right.
take long.
And some of the documents I submitted to you for item number 6 today are gonna be relevant to that one as well, so if you can keep that in your packet.
All right.
Well, thank you, Kyle.
Okay,
So
thank
do you
you.
guys have any more future agenda items?
I don't.
I have nothing.
Thanks, Al.
Okay,
Public comment.
we need public comment. Is there any public comment now?
Did you have something, Bert?
Okay, we'll move on. Adjourn?
Make a motion. I make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Patsy.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm.